All right, now I'm going over lesson 6, comparing fractions, decimals, and percents. So the first question, it is about a 10 by 10 grid. So it wants to know which one is representing 1/4 of the graph. If you solve the next two questions first, you'll know exactly how many squares you need to count. So the first one, the second and third question, it has 1/4 and it wants you to turn it into a decimal and a percent. So what did we say about percents? It's anything over 100, right? So how do we get 1/4 to something over 100? 4 times what gives us 100? 25. So whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So 1 times 25 is 25. 25 over 100, that means the percent is 25. So that means the decimal is 0.25. And then when you look at the 10 by 10 grid, you just need to make sure that 25 squares are shaded. All right, now we've got 0.45. All we have to do here is move the decimal over twice, so it's 45%. It wants it as a fraction as well. Yes, it would be 45 over 100, but it wants it, it actually asked for the decimal again, so you've already got that. It would be 0.45. So that's a little bit easier for you. Okay, next one, 8%. So when we're turning it into a decimal, we have to move it to the left twice, right? 1, 2. So it's going to be 0.0, and I did this on the last lesson, 8. And then the percent is anything over 100. So it's just 8 over 100, but then we have to reduce that. No, we don't. It wants 8 over 100. Okay, so now it wants to know which one of these would be greater. I always, when I have fractions and the numerator's the same, I think about pizza. So if I had a pizza with 8 slices, and then I had a pizza with 5 slices, and they were the same size pizza, my slice with 5 slices would be a lot bigger. So that is greater. 1/5 is greater. 1/8 is less. So when you would read this, it would say 1/8 is less than 1/5. Okay. Now there's a big graph. I'm skipping that question because it's going to take me a little bit longer. And I'm going to this last question. So you have a percent and a fraction. It's really hard to compare those two. So we can turn this into a percent. Anything over 100 is a percent. So how do we get 4 to 100? We've had this a few times between the 3 lessons. Multiply the top and the bottom by 25, right? So this would equal 25 over 100. So this percent is 25. So which one's greater, 37 or 25? 37. Okay. And now I'm going to go back to the big graph, and I don't have all of it here. I just have most of it. It wants you to have a fraction, a decimal, and a percent. Now, so if we have the decimal, to find the percent, all we have to do is move it over twice. So it's 50%. This one's a little bit harder. If you look at your choices, you should be able to narrow it down, but you can't move your decimal over because there's a fraction in it. I will tell you the choices really quickly. Well, this section is going to be the decimals, and percent is almost the same thing as decimal. So one of your choices has 33 as a percent. So that's probably the one, or as a decimal. So that's probably the one that is going to be it. But just check your work. And then as a fraction, so if we have, let's say it is 33%, or as a decimal, 33 over 100, can't simplify it like that, but it would be 1/3. Okay, now we've got 1/4, 25, 0.25 as a decimal, so this would be your percent, and I'm running out of time. So I'm just going to stop there because I'm running out of time. But we went through almost all of it.